Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my channel? Thank you so much. My best friend was working in a bar when a sleazy man slipped drugs into her drink. After I discovered this, I promptly called the police, which saved her from disaster. Unexpectedly, my best friend actually resented me for meddling in her affairs. He drugged me because he likes me. Otherwise, why didn't he drug anyone else? You're just jealous of me and don't want me to marry into a wealthy family. I'll kill you. My best friend was so angry that her eyes turned red, and she stabbed me repeatedly until I died in agony. When I opened my eyes again, I had gone back to the day when my best friend was drugged. See that girl carrying the plates over there? She always wears a miniskirt to seduce people. Let's see what she tastes like tonight. The disgusting word startled me. I looked around and was astonished to find that I had been reincarnated. I glanced at the several sleazy men at the neighboring table. They were staring intently at my best friend Isabel's buttocks and thighs, making dirty jokes from time to time and grinning loudly. The same scene had happened in my previous life. Sensing that they were going to harm my best friend, I quickly called her over. Isabel, those sleazy men over there seem to have ill intentions towards you. Why don't you ask for leave and go back tonight? I'm afraid you'll be in danger. Oh, it's okay. They only have ill intentions towards me because they like me. I won't be in any danger. My best friend didn't take it seriously and even seemed a bit arrogant. After saying that, she turned around and walked away. At that time, I thought she was just too naive and hadn't experienced the harshness of society, so she was a bit simple-minded. To prevent my best friend from getting into danger, I kept a close eye on her. Sure enough, those men still targeted my best friend. I quickly called the police and saved her before they could succeed. Why are you here? My best friend was surprised when she woke up. I told her about the near disaster she had almost encountered. Unexpectedly, my best friend resented me for meddling in her affairs. Evelyn, are you crazy? Do you know how rich that man is? I think you're just used to being poor, so you also want to stop me from marrying into a wealthy family. I was dumbfounded after realizing what was going on. I was both angry and amused. Can you marry a wealthy family just by sleeping with someone? Of course he drugged me and slept with me because he likes me. Otherwise, why didn't he drug anyone else but me? My best friend was trembling all over and continued ranting. I worked in the bar just to wait for this day, but you've ruined it all. The more she talked, the angrier she got. Her eyes were bloodshot, and her face was distorted. Suddenly, taking me by surprise, she lunged at me. She stabbed me repeatedly until I died. Die, 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 you deserve to die. My best friend was so enraged that she lost her mind. Finally, I died in despair and endless pain. Unexpectedly, I also had a day of being reincarnated. In God, I thought I was wronged this time. I'd like to see if my drugged best friend can really marry into a wealthy family. My thoughts were once again pulled back by the sleazy men's words. The taste must be good. She is such a great figure with a curvy front and back and a slim waist. I wonder if she's sexy in bed. He. Another sleazy man stroked his chin, fantasizing about Isabel. He. I called her over to feel her up first, before they could. Just like in my previous life, I told her that the sleazy men might harm her. She gave the same answer, but this time I clearly saw the excitement that flashed in her eyes, and the corners of her mouth that she couldn't suppress. I was so stupid to think she was simple-minded in my previous life. Now that I think about it, she's full of schemes. I know she must already be fantasizing about the wealthy life after a one-night stand. But this time, I don't plan to remind her to avoid getting scolded again. Since she's being stupid, let her continue to be stupid. Isabel wiggled her hips and walked towards those sleazy men, even throwing them a flirtatious glance. The sleazy men were instantly intrigued and started cheering. Okay, you can really wiggle. Here's a stack of money for you. One of the sleazy men, with a cigarette in his mouth, stuffed a thick stack of cash into Isabel's top. Isabel's eyes lit up immediately, and then she directly wriggled into the sleazy man's arms and rubbed against him. The sleazy man groped her all over, making Isabel moan and whine, saying, "I can't take it, brother. When are we going upstairs?" Upstairs meant the hotel. Heh. Don't be so impatient. Have a drink with brother first, and then we'll go up. I watched as Isabel drank it down without any suspicion, and I sneered in my heart. This idiot. Didn't she think that if things were really that simple, they could just do it directly? Why bother to drug her? Isabel passed out and was carried upstairs by the sleazy man. I quietly followed behind and watched the sleazy man enter a room. A moment later, about 10 more men poured in. "My dear best friend, since you're so eager to be slept with, you'd better bear it well. What will happen tonight is self-evident." So I turned around and left the bar, planning to go home and have a good sleep. At 7 Hall the next morning, I came to work at the hospital. As soon as I put on my white coat, the office door was knocked on urgently. "Dr. Evelyn, there's a patient with an anal foreign body obstruction. The bleeding from the lower body is quite severe. Please go and have a look quickly." I nodded and quickly walked towards the emergency room. From a distance, I could already hear the person's howling. "Oh, help! Where's the doctor? Save me quickly!" I knew that voice all too well. It was none other than my good best friend. I slowed down my steps. Isabel was lying on the bed, frowning tightly, sweating profusely, and her face was smeared with tears. She looked extremely painful, but I felt extremely satisfied. "You've gone too far. You deserve it, Evelyn. You're finally here. Please save me. I'm in so much pain that I feel like I'm going to die." Isabel grabbed onto me tightly, as if she had grasped a life-saving straw. "Don't panic. Let me first check the specific situation." I pretended to comfort her and lifted the blanket covering her body. Even though I had been a doctor for many years, I was still shocked. "Isabel, what on earth did you do last night? How could it be this bad?" Isabel felt a bit ashamed and bit her lip tightly. After a moment, she suddenly burst into loud sobs. "Evelyn, how can I go on living like this? That man actually called on a lot of his buddies. I woke up this morning because of the pain. When I woke up, they were all gone and left me there alone." The more sadly Isabel cried, the happier I felt inside. I could hardly suppress the corners of my excited mouth and quickly changed the topic. "Don't rush. The most urgent thing for you now is to have an operation quickly. I'll call your mom right away." With that, I pretended to take out my phone, and Isabel immediately stopped me. "Regardless of the pain, don't call her. If my mom finds out, she'll beat me to death." The words "beat me to death" were really no exaggeration. Olivia was overbearing and unreasonable, and it wouldn't be an overstatement to describe her as a shrew. She often beat and scolded Isabel. Isabel's family was poor, and she had a younger brother who was now at the age of getting married, so Olivia had always been thinking of marrying Isabel off to the 65-year-old man next door. It was said that the betrothal gift money had already been negotiated, asking for $880,000. Now that something so shameful had happened to Isabel, this call definitely had to be made because I was still waiting to watch the show. Isn't this more exciting than a TV drama? But I still pretended to compromise. "Okay, let's prepare for the operation first." Isabel was sent into the operating room. The operation was successful. After an hour, the wine bottle was finally removed. I couldn't help but marvel in my heart at her capacity. How could she even fit that in? I looked at Isabel, who was still in a coma on the bed, and sneered in my heart. The good show was about to begin. Sebastian and Olivia rushed over in a hurry. Half an hour later, as soon as Olivia rushed into the ward, she bared her teeth and pointed at Isabel's nose, scolding, you ill-mannered thing." "Mom." Isabel had just woken up, and when she saw her mom coming, her eyes widened instantly, as if she had seen a ghost. "How dare you call me Mom?" Olivia pounced on Isabel and slapped her dozens of times on the face. "Don't call me Mom. I don't have such a daughter like you, sleeping with so many men." Why didn't you just die from it? Isabel had just had an operation and was weak all over. She didn't have the strength to resist at all and could only struggle desperately. Ah, help! Ah, help me! Mom, I'm wrong! Woo, woo! Isabel's face was swollen. From the slaps, Sebastian was pulling them apart from behind. Okay, the most urgent thing now is what to do about the betrothal gift money. Stop hitting her. If something really bad happens to her, we won't be able to explain it to Henry either. Olivia finally stopped, but she still didn't stop scolding. How could I have given birth to such a useless daughter like you? Not being able to earn money is bad enough, and now you're making me lose money. Henry already knows about this mess of yours and is yelling about wanting to get the betrothal gift money back. You come back with me tonight and comfort him. Well, maybe we can still salvage the situation. What this comfort meant was self-evident. Isabel understood too, so her face was full of horror. I won't go back. If you want to comfort him, you go ahead. He's always staring at you with shifty eyes. You'll definitely have a better effect on comforting him than I would. This sentence instantly angered Sebastian, and he slapped Isabel so hard that her face was tilted to one side. How can you talk to your mom like that? I don't care. I won't go back. If I go back, I'll be dead. I had long heard from the neighbors that Henry was a complete lecher and had a severe tendency to abuse. His first wife was abused to death in bed, so no one dared to marry him again. Naturally, Isabel was unwilling to go back. Isabel resisted with all her might, and Olivia also pulled her with all her strength. In the end, Isabel was no match for her mom and was dragged down roughly. Isabel's facial features were tightly wrinkled together in pain. I looked at her butt, and there was already a pool of blood seeping out. Evelyn, please save me. Isabel cast a pleading look at me. Suddenly, I remembered that in my previous life, I had begged her like this too, begging her to let me go. But not only did she not let me go, but she also stabbed me dozens of more times. I suppressed my full rage and pretended to speak up for her. Auntie, don't blame Isabel anymore. She didn't do it on purpose. Look at how she's been messed up. It's not what she wanted either. When Olivia caught sight of the blood on her pants, she was even more convinced of what I said. What's the use of being ruined? You good for nothing. Olivia gritted her teeth and punched and kicked Isabel. The commotion was so big that the corridor outside the ward was instantly filled with old men and women who came to watch the fun. I heard that this woman was indiscreet. She had sex with over a dozen men in one night and was sent to the hospital covered in blood this morning. Skaisk! I heard that she played too hard and won't be able to hold her poop in the future. I heard that she played so hard that she won't be able to have children in the future. The corners of my mouth twitched. These old men and women were really good at spreading rumors, but it was precisely the vivid and enthusiastic descriptions of these old men and women that further enraged Olivia. Finally, Isabel. She was beaten unconscious and her lower body was covered in blood. I uploaded the photos of the sleazy men that I took last night to various social networking sites for image recognition. Finally, with persistent efforts, I discovered his real identity, the eldest son of a local chemical fertilizer factory, Lucas, a true second-generation factory owner. He had a wife and a 3-year-old daughter at home. In the ward, Sebastian and Olivia were sitting by the bedside with worried looks on their faces. Things have come to this. Maybe we should just return the 880,000 yuan of betrothal gift money. Look at Isabel now. Henry definitely won't want her anymore. Bastian frowned tightly. No way. If we return it, how will Jaming get a wife? Olivia refused sharply and didn't forget to glare at the unconscious Isabel. I knew it was my turn to step in. I stared at my phone, pretended to sigh, and forced out a few tears. Alas, Isabel is really pitiful. She's been messed up like this, and those men just walked away without paying a penny. My words woke Olivia up. Without the 880,000 yuan of betrothal gift money, they could still ask those men for money. She snatched my phone away, squinted her eyes, and looked at the relevant information about Lucas on the phone. This man is the mastermind, right? Just wait, my innocent daughter. How could I let them sleep with her for free? This is really bullying. Sebastian, let's go and settle the score with them. She slapped her thigh hard, rolled up her sleeves, and rushed out angrily. An hour later, Isabel finally regained consciousness. At this moment, I was the only one in the ward. Where are they? Isabel asked. Don't worry, Uncle and Aunt have gone to seek justice for you. What? They've gone to settle scores with Lucas? Just as I expected, Isabel had known that the man was Lucas all along. She was just waiting for him to take the bait, like a fisherman waiting by the stump of a tree for a hare. Her plan had always been to become Mrs. Lucas or his mistress. Isabel struggled to get up. I tried my best to hold her down, telling her not to rush. Unable to move under my restraint, she became even more frantic and blurted out, "What do you know? Seeking justice won't get much money. What I want is to be Mrs. Lucas." Right on the mark, she had no real skills but quite a big ambition. I mocked her secretly in my heart, but I heard that Lucas already has a wife. Oh my God, Isabel. You're a mistress. I covered my mouth, pretending to be shocked, and deliberately speaking very loudly to ensure that people outside the corridor could hear. Several old ladies passing by outside the door heard the word mistress and automatically turned on their radar, stopping to listen. What are you looking at? Isabel shouted angrily at the old ladies. The old ladies were no pushovers either. Being shouted at like that made them lose face, so they started to taunt her. At such a young age, not learning good things but going to be a mistress. It's really shameful. You're a thing with a father but no mother to raise you. This girl is the one who was played by men so hard that she can't hold her poop in. Oh my God, the chatter of the old ladies made Isabel lose her composure. She screamed and retorted, "What do you old ladies know? I'm not a mistress. The one who isn't loved is the mistress." The old ladies were not to be outdone either. They took turns bombarding her with remarks. "Who are you calling old? Who are you calling old? Say that again if you dare. I'll tear your mouth apart. Ouch. Everyone come and look. This little girl wants to build a memorial archway, even after being a... Come on, I'll post you online and let everyone judge." The scene was getting more and more chaotic. More and more people gathered at the door of the ward. Isabel couldn't out-argue these experienced old ladies on her own. She could only pull her hair and scream crazily, "Get lost!" Just when she was on the verge of a breakdown, Sebastian and Olivia came back with their heads full of injuries. "What are you doing?" "Get out of the way and let me in." Olivia was desperately trying to push her way in. At this time, an old lady asked, "Are you the mother of that mistress?" Sebastian and Olivia were both confused and said in unison, "What mistress?" The old lady pointed at Isabel on the hospital bed. "Look, your daughter doesn't learn good things but prefers to be a mistress." Olivia immediately flew into a rage. You never give me a moment's peace. It's bad enough that you messed around in the bar, and now you're going to be a mistress. It'll be even harder to explain to Henry now." The more Olivia thought about it, the angrier she got. She directly rushed over and pulled Isabel's hair, making her scream desperately. "Ah!" The old ladies at the door were still chattering, saying it was good that she was being beaten. I was also extremely happy in my heart. Well done. About 5 or 6 minutes later, the security guards rushed over and finally calmed down this farce. The ward returned to quiet. Sebastian and Olivia were sitting on the chairs, panting heavily and glaring at Isabel viciously. I looked at the wounds on their faces and asked them what had happened. "Don't even mention it, that Lucas wouldn't even see us. He also said we were lying, just trying to blackmail him, and then he sent his bodyguards to beat us up. Oh, Uncle and Aunt, you are too impatient. We don't have any evidence, so of course they won't admit it. Now we already have witnesses. We just lack physical evidence." I pointed at Isabel on the hospital bed. She quickly denied it. "You're lying. Lucas didn't rape me at all. We two are in love. I worked in the bar, and he peeked at me many times. Yesterday he drugged me and wanted to sleep with me, which was telling me that he loved me. He must have been afraid that I would reject him, so he drugged me. Don't you believe it? Isabel became more and more coy as she spoke, as if Lucas had really confessed his love to her. I couldn't help but roll my eyes. Yeah, right, he drugged you because he loved you. Otherwise, why didn't he drug others? You're an incurable lunatic, Olivia. Immediately, she flew into a rage. What a load of crap you're spitting. He drugged you even though you're in love, and he also got a bunch of men to mess with you. How could we have raised such a cheap... like you? Her mother understood this simple truth, but she didn't. He got other men involved because he thought I was too perfect and wanted to show off. Yes, yes. That's it. Isabel was talking to her until she convinced herself. Do me? You don't understand at all, Dad. Mom, I'm confident that I can become Mrs. Lucas. Then you just wait to count the money, huh? Really? Sebastian and Olivia's expressions changed immediately when they heard about the money. Yes, you can have anything in your dreams, of course, I quickly chimed in. Then you should really seize the opportunity. I heard that his wife is quite domineering. What's there to be afraid of? His wife is a full 10 years older than Lucas. She's already old and faded with no competitiveness. Such inexplicable self-confidence. Seeing that I didn't say anything, Isabel snapped at me. Evelyn, you wouldn't be jealous of me, would you? I'm telling you, don't compete with me. He's mine. Don't worry. I wouldn't even want him if he were given to me for free. I have mysophobia. Isabel didn't catch the implication of my words and instead snorted arrogantly. 2 weeks later, Isabel was discharged from the hospital. That very night, she continued to work in the bar. I was still sitting in my usual spot, drinking for no other reason than to watch the show. At 8 here in the evening, Lucas and 3 of his buddies came to the bar. Isabel immediately wiggled her way over to them, her eyes full of affection and her face blushing with shyness. Lucas, you're here. Oh, ho, ho, calling Lucas so intimately. Does your sister-in-law know about this? Lucas's buddy teased. Who are you? Lucas asked, looking confused and frowning. Don't you remember me? You praised me for my good wiggling a few days ago. Isabel pouted. Lucas said, Oh. And then, realizing what was going on, he put his arm around her and leered, It's you. Did you have a good time that night? Do you want to experience it again tonight? While enduring his groping, Isabel said, I knew you loved me. Lucas was a bit impatient and quickly replied, Of course I love you. I love you to death. Isabel nodded with satisfaction. The 4 men and the woman walked towards the hotel upstairs. I secretly recorded a video and sent it to Lucas's wife via Du's private message. The message was quickly marked as read on the other side. Afraid that the situation wasn't heated enough, I also sent her the bar video from a week ago, as well as the audio of Isabel in the hospital. However, I had processed the audio and only excerpted certain parts of it. For example, the one who isn't loved is the mistress. His wife is already old and faded. I'm confident that I can become Mrs. Lucas. Continued to fan the flames. If you don't pay more attention, all your family property will be taken away. After tonight, she might even get pregnant with a son. I also sent her the address of the bar along with it, and then I just waited for the good news. Half an hour later, Lucas's wife rushed over in a rage and went straight to the hotel upstairs. It was a small, privately owned hotel, so after Lucas's wife identified herself and stated that she was there to catch her husband cheating, she easily got the room key. I followed behind her, unable to conceal my excitement. Lucas's wife was decisive and domineering. After swiping the keycard to open the door, she kicked it open directly and walked in quickly. Inside the room, it was a chaotic mess. All you could see were naked bodies everywhere. Lucas, you're really having a wild time. When Lucas saw his wife, his eyes widened immediately. He kicked away Isabel, who was wriggling on top of him, and then scrambled to his feet in a panic. Wife, why are you here? Lucas's wife slapped him across the face. Why am I here? If I hadn't come, would our family be turned upside down? I'm telling you, even if we get divorced, I'll make sure you leave the house with nothing. Lucas quickly denied it, shaking his head like a rattle. Wife, I won't get divorced. Isabel suddenly screamed shrilly. If you don't get divorced, what about me? Oh, Lucas, look. The woman you found outside is trying to take your place. Lucas quickly comforted her. Wife, you've misunderstood. How could I possibly marry a bitch? Then he turned to Isabel and roared, Shut up. It has nothing to do with you. Wife, please forgive me. It was this woman who came to seduce me that made me make this mistake. Let's go home. You can punish me however you want. When Isabel heard Lucas putting all the blame on her, her expression changed instantly. She ran to his side. Lucas, that's not what you said before. You said you loved me. Lucas pushed Isabel away. Shut up. You're a... who sells herself and has been slept with by so many people. How could I possibly love you? Lucas's few words shattered Isabel's illusions, but she still wasn't willing to give up. You don't love me. If you don't love me, why did you peek at me every day? If you don't love me, why did you sleep with me? Shut up, Lucas interrupted Isabel with a heavy slap. Don't try to build a memorial archway after being a ohaunt. I won't fall for your tricks. I spit on you. Wife, believe me, I only love you. I can believe you if you slap her 10 times, then I'll believe you. Lucas's wife folded her arms across her chest and looked coldly at Isabel. Lucas showed no mercy at all. Each slap was heavier than the last, slapping Isabel's face until it was swollen like a pig's head. For the last few slaps, Isabel struggled desperately. Lucas's good buddies quickly came over to help hold her down. She was full of despair, and her voice was hoarse from crying. After the last slap, Isabel spat out a mouthful of blood and 2 teeth, completely going crazy. She lunged at Lucas like a mad woman, her eyes bloodshot, punching and kicking him with her bloody mouth wide open. Give me back my innocence. Give me back my innocence. You slept with me even though you don't love me. I'll kill you. Kill you. Lucas was pushed down. Isabel directly punched his lower back hard, and he immediately curled up in pain, shaking all over. It looked really painful. Then Isabel used all her strength to hold him down and kicked him in the groin. Lucas's vital part was targeted. Instantly, an extremely painful scream echoed throughout the room. Lucas's wife watched all this coldly, with no intention of helping at all. His 3 buddies were also shocked and quickly covered their groins tightly, then hid far away. There was no way I would help either. He wasn't a good person anyway. A desperate woman can burst out with astonishing strength. Lucas was knocked out from the pain. In the end, Lucas was sent to the hospital, and the rest of us were taken away by the police. At the police station, since I and Lucas's wife hadn't participated in group licentiousness, fighting, or other such behaviors, we were released after the routine questioning. Isabel reported to the police that Lucas and the other 10 people had raped her by using drugs. After the police investigation, the rape by using drugs was confirmed to be true. The next day, the remaining 7 people were all arrested and brought to justice. All those who participated in the rape by using drugs were sentenced to 3 years in prison. Since Lucas was receiving treatment in the hospital, he was released on bail pending trial, but he definitely couldn't escape criminal punishment. Isabel also had certain legal behaviors, so she was detained for 15 days. A few days later, Isabel walked out of the police station with disheveled hair and a face ashen like death. Sebastian and Olivia rushed at her furiously. You troublesome thing. The eldest son of the Z family is now a useless person. Now their family is yelling about filing a lawsuit and making us pay 1 million. How can our family afford so much money? What a sin! What a sin! Olivia gritted her teeth, looking as if she hated that Isabel couldn't make the grade. He deserved it. It was too easy on him just to bite off that dirty thing of his down there. He should have been bitten to death. Isabel seemed to come to life suddenly. Her eyes almost popping out, she looked really terrifying. Later, Lucas's father brought people to cause trouble at their door several times. If they couldn't come up with 1 million, they would smash things crazily out of desperation. Olivia came to me wanting to borrow money from me. There was no way I would lend it to her. I casually made up an excuse to refuse, and also hinted that making money on the internet was fast. Under my reminder, Sebastian and Olivia began to use Isabel's misfortune to start live broadcasts to make money. In the live broadcast room, the background was their home that had been smashed. Isabel was sitting lifelessly in the center, with a heart as dead as ashes. Sebastian and Olivia were hugging her shoulders from left to right, crying bitterly and exaggerating their accusations about the atrocities their daughter had endured. Those damned bastards! Dozens of men just dragged my daughter into that small dark room. That rapist even wants us to pay 1 million yuan. This is really going to kill our whole family. My daughter is so young but already has severe depression. Look, she's self-harming at home every day. Olivia held up Isabel's left hand. It could be clearly seen that there were at least a dozen cut marks on her left wrist. It had to be said that the effect of playing the victim was really good. The popularity of the live broadcast soared directly to the first place on the local ranking list, and various gifts kept pouring in. Judging from this situation, it was estimated that it would be no problem to earn 500,000 yuan in one night. After tasting the sweetness, they continued to broadcast live for 3 more nights and made a huge fortune, quickly paying off the 1 million yuan. However, Isabel's condition was visibly deteriorating day by day. I even suspected that her parents were deliberately torturing her to win the sympathy of the audience. On the 4th day, Lucas's wife posted a video and audio about Isabel. The related hashtags quickly climbed to the top of the list. Isabel's true face was exposed, and viewers were demanding their money back one after another. Pay back the money. I spent 5,000 yuan on gifts. I'm so angry. It's just that she got angry out of embarrassment after failing to become a mistress, and then sued the man instead. You're not a good person either, pretending to be a complete victim. Everyone, don't let the man get away with it. Neither the man nor the woman is a good person. Also, pay back the money. Such outrageous and strange remarks. Minors must never learn from this. It's wrong. Girls, wake up. If a man really loves you, he won't let you get hurt at all. Viewers were tagging the cyber police and official platforms one after another. The attention to this matter was getting higher and higher, and the cyberbullying forced Olivia to directly delete her account and choose to stay hidden at home. That night, I went to their house. As soon as I got closer, I heard the sound of things being smashed and a quarrel coming from inside the house. To avoid getting involved, I stood at the door and didn't go in. What should we do now? All the media are shouting for us to pay back the money. If we really do that, how will we live our lives? Don't worry, we've deleted our accounts. They can't find us. If they really want us to pay back the money, well, we don't have the money anyway. They can take our lives if they want. What about the betrayal gift money from Henry's family? That old bastard came to urge me again today, asking me to pay him back. We can't pay it back. What will our son use if we do? Just throw Isabel to him. He can take it. Or leave it anyway. We've given him the person. After they had discussed it, they began to scold Isabel. Look at you. You just made a few cuts on yourself with a knife, and now you look half dead. You'll go to live at Henry's house later. We're too lazy to care about you. It's annoying just to look at you. Hearing their words, I gasped. So they really were abusing Isabel. Perhaps Henry was really terrifying. Isabel trembled and said, Mom, I won't go to his house. He'll beat me to death. Olivia's voice instantly rose several octaves. You have to go, whether you like it or not. If you don't go, I'll beat you to death first. Sebastian also chimed in. His voice sounded helpless, but what he said was really disgusting. If you don't go, we'll have to pay back that 880,000 Tolan yuan. What about your brother? What about us? As a daughter, you should think about us. Isabel completely broke down and screamed at the top of her lungs. After a few minutes, it finally became quiet inside the house. Sensing that they were about to come out, I quickly ran upstairs. The door opened. Isabel was like a puppet on strings, being at their mercy, and was sent to Henry's doorstep. Henry had a flushed face, greasy skin, a mouthful of yellow teeth, and a cigarette in his mouth. He looked really disgusting. No wonder Isabel didn't want to marry him. When Henry saw them, he first stared at Isabel with a lewd grin, then cleared his throat. "What do you mean by this?" Olivia smiled ingratiatingly. "We're bringing our daughter here to apologize to you. Don't be disgusted. From tonight on, she'll be your wife. You can discipline her however you like. Hump, a second-hand good. If you want me not to be disgusted, return 200,000 yuan of the betrothal gift money to me." Sebastian and Olivia looked very embarrassed, but finally, they compromised. It was better than having to return all 880,000 yuan. Isabel was hugged by Henry and taken into the house. He even licked her face a few times on the way. Ugh! It felt like being fed a mouthful of it. I had the old man on the subway looking at his phone expression throughout the process. Isabel had always been daydreaming about getting rich by relying on men. Now, because of money, she was married off by her own parents to that kind of old man. Her fate would surely be miserable. It was truly a case of divine justice and well-deserved retribution. The next day, I dialed the 110 police hotline. Sebastian and Olivia were detained by the police on suspicion of abusing women and committing fraud. In the end, they were sentenced to 2 years in prison. A few days later, at night, Isabel stabbed Henry to death with a knife. It was said that when the police arrived, she was completely naked, covered in bloodstains, and was sitting motionless beside the corpse, giggling. Finally, Isabel was sentenced to 20 years in prison due to mental problems, and I continued to be my proctologist, living an ordinary life. But living an ordinary life is also a kind of happiness, isn't it?